you went really for the government. So how did you manage that?
Yeah, the difficulty in this our part of the world is that, and I think that is something we need to work on. When political parties are in opposition, they cherish the principle of free speech.
Yeah.
And they are champions, human rights advocates, and will go to the high heavens to champion why there should be plurality of the media. But when they get into power, the attitude changes.
So was it Vibe FM you were looking for?
I think Vibe FM. Fantastic, okay. Madam. God bless you.
Amen.
So you see, this is the attitude that gave birth, like I said, to Alaji, where alternative voices have to be found to enable people to ventilate whatever views that they have. And so I think that we as politicians have a bounden duty. Instead of contracting the realms of freedom of speech, instead of contracting the space for media plurality, we should be expanding.
Yeah. And
I think that there's so much space still out there for us to ensure that we encourage the plurality of the media. And that's why I am vehemently opposed to the shutting down of radio stations.
Yeah.
I agree. There must have been some infractions, some of the radio stations and others engaging. But why? If you want to kill a mosquito, do you use a sledgehammer?
No.
Exactly.
You don't.
If, madam, assuming without admitting, a mosquito settles on your cheek and I want to, because our people say it is the mischief of the mosquito that enables the ordinary citizen to slap the chief.
Yeah. You see,
so if I want to kill a mosquito on your distance, do I use a sledgehammer? If I use a sledgehammer, I'm killing you and not the mosquito.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's the same thing that those media organizations that are involved in media infractions, the intent of the broadcast law that we formulated was not to kill them, was to give them opportunity to be reformed. If there was an error, you give them the opportunity to make good the infraction that they have made. So they have not paid, they have not lived up to their financial obligations. You give them the opportunity. You don't shut them down.
What do you make of journalists today? You know, sensationalism, non-accuracy of information, just wanting to be the first to break news, and so we do not double check and all that. What do you make of journalists today?
See, one of the key points, and let me be fair enough to say that it's a problem that predated this current generation. It started during our time, and I was an advocate of that we need to have a situation where people who are media practitioners do so as a calling.
Yeah.
Not just because I don't have a job, then maybe let me see if I can hang on to this place as a stopgap to something that I want to do later. Because you see, if you are not motivated by the calling, the ethics of all the things that have been enunciated in our GJA code of ethics and all those things will become a mere decorative piece. So that if we are imbued by that calling and we enter into media practice, we would endeavor to be professional. I have always said that it is not about the political affiliation of anybody. You can be the general secretary of the MPP or the NDC and be a very professional journalist.
Of course.
Okay? I in the media practice was associated with the NDC. But in my practice, for instance, in those days when the general secretary of the MPP was Dambotri, if he spoke to Dambotri, if Dambotri had any news to break, he would call me first. Because he was confident that, notwithstanding whatever I was professional. When you sit on that job there, you have a bounden duty to be professional. You have a bounden duty to be fair, balanced to all the constituents that you work for. And so from that standpoint, I'm sure that if all of us as journalists are minded by this, in some of the overly sensational things that we are talking about could have been cured.
Yeah.
Because your professionalism will always remind you that first you have a duty to check and cross-check.
Yeah. Of course. And then in 2012, you decided to proceed now to Parliament House. What informed that decision?
Yeah, madam, before that, in fact, some 4 years back, while at Daily Graphic, there were about 3 busloads of people from my constituency.
Okay.
That time it was tumbling off. And so they had come, young men had come from the constituency, wanting me to come and contest for the tumbling off primaries in the NDC.
Wow. Wow. How was the relationship with them like?
And Yeah, like I said, anytime I come home, I mingle with people. I'm a very free, easygoing person.
And that is why they felt to be the right person.
I like to sit with people. I like to sit, we chat, we do so many things.
Okay.
So I'm sure the youth were very, very forthcoming. Came there to encourage me. At that time, my senior...
So they came from Tamale?
Yeah.
All the way here.
My senior brother was the late Honorable Abu Karisman. He was the member of parliament for that area.
Okay.
So when they came, I said, look, yeah, but we are from the same area. You know, in our tradition, you don't jump over the landlord's feet to patronize his bedroom. So right. You know that my senior brother is there, and I cannot jump over him to contest him.
The right thing must be done.
So we should wait. They were very disappointed. In fact, there were some who held insults at me and called me a bloody coward, and that I didn't want to face some tough competition for me. But I said that everything in this world has its time.
Yeah.
So we should beat the time. Fortunately, by the grace of Allah Almighty, in 2012, Saunaru constituency was created out of part of Tamale North Center and a bit of South. And so they say that if you have been going around and parasiting food and they call for free food, it's like your wife has cooked. So when Saunaru came, by the grace of Allah, it was a done deal.
Yeah, I felt like it was yours.
Yeah. So this time, what the youth had been yearning for, we're there together.
You know, so, a little bit whispering.
August 2012, went for the primaries. By the grace of Allah, won. And that is how I transited from media practice to politics.
Wow. The members of parliament talk about constituents coming in, some with their problems. You know, you have to be paying school fees, giving chop money. You are an opposition member of parliament. How difficult is this for you now?
You know, our people say that the hyena doesn't know the price of a goat. You really catch and chop.
They don't care.
They know there's a value that is on the goat. So it is not only just about whether you are an opposition, but they see you as a principal instrument for resolving their issues.
Yeah.
I can tell you without any height of hesitation that even in opposition, I am constructing roads. I'm doing electricity. Just getting poles and wires and others to go and still wire villages, extending water supply, building public places of convenience, and so many other things that you associate with government. So a lot of it, like I said, comes from also, I will call it a calling, how you feel about your people. I went into politics principally to make a difference in the lives of my people.
Okay. And are you proud of yourself with what you have achieved? I can say without any iota of hesitation that by the grace of Allah in my 8th year, I can say without any iota. And the people confirm. There are many places they tell you, MP, until you tell us that you will no longer contest, we shall be with you all the way.
Wow.
So 2020 is around the corner.
I've contested 3 primaries. I've won all. So, and by the grace of Allah, in the parliamentary election and the presidential election, in my constituency, no other party has won 1 police station in my constituency before. When Saunaru was created in 2012. So by the grace of Allah, it is by dint mainly of the hard work we've done. We became MP. There were many towns and villages that had no light.
And they all have lights today.
Within 2 years, by the grace of Allah, the whole place was, and to quote somebody, electrified.
You know, 2 years ago,
water. Our mothers used to carry this
buckets.
The buckets.
The big, I don't know what to call it, a bucket, those cans, those big basins. And walk miles to go and fetch even water that even they give it to you, you may not want to drink. Today, by the grace of the hard work we had done, today they drink pipe-borne water in their homes.
Wow, that's nice.
Villages where there was no light for them to even get their children to study. By the grace of Allah, today they are teaching computer literacy in villages in my constituency. Because apart from getting them light in their building schools and getting them light, we have supplied computers.
Interesting.
And they are teaching them computer literacy.
So 2020, how is it looking?
So by the grace of Allah Almighty, say that if it will rain, you see it in the sky.
Absolutely.
The clouds will tell you. See, so I have no doubt. A house that has fallen, you don't ask whether the roof is still standing. I'm sure today, the 2 political parties have records. The NDC has a record. The MPP has a record. His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo has a record. President Mahama has a record. And so today you are beginning to see that one manifesto, which is a people's manifesto, and the other, which is, I don't know how to call that one, a manifesto.